Welcome back to another class of Halacha for Women. We are continuing in the sefer called Otzar Danim. We are starting a new chapter, chapter 2, Halacha 1. Rav Yitzchak Yosef Shlita brings down, Katan shu bar havana, if you have a child that he has understanding, yesh lahargilo od mikatnuto litlabesh bitniut. You should accustom your child while he's still small to get dressed in modesty. He brings down in the footnote and he says it's Halacha in the Shulchan Aruch in Siman Bet and Halacha Bet. And he brings down why is it so important that you should accustom the child to get dressed in modesty while he's younger. And again, we're speaking about a child where he's able to understand you. Let's say 5 years old, maybe 6 years old, where they're able to understand what you're saying. Why is it so important? Because as we'll see, when a person does get older, he also has an obligation to go ahead and try to get dressed modestly. And we'll see, as we go, we'll see what that means. So he says over here, V'amru Chazal and Chachamim, our rabbis of blessed memory had said, Avnei beito shel Adam, v'karot beito shel Adam, me'idim bo. The stones of a person's house and the beams of a person's house, they will be the ones that are going to testify against a person after he leaves this world. Also is brought down in the Gemara Masechet Berachot, page 62, side 1. Amar Rabbi Techum bar Chanilai. Rabbi Techum, the son of Chanilai, said, Kol atzanu bebeit hakise nitzol mishalosh dvarim. Anybody who is modest in a restroom, he'll be saved from 3 things. Min hanichashim, he'll be saved from the snakes. Umin ha'akravim, and from the scorpions. Umin ha'mazikim, and also from the damagers. Meaning spiritual damagers. V'yeshomrim af chalamotav miyushvim alav adkan. And someone even learned that even a person's dreams, he's going to have normal dreams. They're going to be calming and they're not going to be frightening. When are we going to say this? That is specifically when a person, he acts in modesty. Even in a bathroom, because a lot of times a person feels that if he's inside a bathroom, who's already seeing him? So they can be in the bathroom a certain way. So Rabotai, it's a very big no-no. A person should not be immodest even in a bathroom. And unfortunately, with everything that's going on today, right, we speak about not being immodest in the bathroom, but there is a lot of immodesty that goes outside of the bathroom also. People started getting dressed today in a very hefker way, in a way where it's not concerning them if what's coming to them tomorrow after they die, if they're making other men sin, and so on and so forth. You can argue with me and you're going to tell me you have to look beautiful, and I don't think men should look. You're right. This is why we try to separate the men from the women, because men are animalistic. And there's stories in the Gemara with Rabbi Akiva and Nur the Amra, where a lot of the Tanaim, they almost chas v'shalom fell with another woman. One of the stories, Nur the Amra, the reason why they call him the fire of Amram is because when he was an elderly guy, and they brought about 10 captives into his house. So they said, we can't leave these captives, meaning beautiful captive girls, we can't leave them in another room where the students are learning Torah, because over there we're afraid they're going to come to sin. So they said, let's bring it to Rav Amram's house, so we'll put it in his attic on the 2nd floor, and then we know that he's a rabbi, he learns Torah, nothing's going to happen. And you have to realize back then, they didn't have staircases like we have today, they had real ladders. So that ladder that they had to pick up, in order to put it on the attic, you needed 10 men, 10 young, strong boys to pick it up. So they picked it up, they placed it on the attic, all the girls went up, they took the attic and they put it on the floor. So make sure that nobody goes up to those girls. In the middle of the night, the Yitzhar made such a light come out from one corner. When he picked up his eyes to see what it was, the Yitzhar made that there was a blonde girl. He saw her hair. Automatically, Rav Amram, the Yitzhar inside of him, took fire. It lit. So what did he do? A ladder that requested 10 men to pick it up, he was able to do it himself. And now he was going up on the ladder to go ahead and sin with her. That's how much the fire was burning within him. Came the Chachamim and they tell us, what did Rav Amram do? As he was walking, one of the tzitziot, it hit him. And he remembered the mitzvah of Lo Tatru Acharei Levavchem V'Acharei Einechem. A man, he's not allowed to go after his eyes and after his heart, and he has to guard them. He remembered, but the problem was, as much as he did not want to sin with the girl, but the evil inclination was just too powerful. So what did Rav Amram do? He started screaming. He says, Nur de Amram, Nur de Amram. He started screaming, there's a fire in Amram's house. There's a fire in Amram's house. When the students heard this, everybody ran with buckets of water trying to put out the fire. When they walked in, they see there's no fire in the room, and they see the Rebbe. Can you imagine to see your rabbi going to do an affair with another girl, chas v'shalom? So when they tell him, Kvod Rav, you embarrassed us. Where's the fire? He says, number one, the fire's in my heart. You guys just turned it off. Number two, he said, I'd rather be embarrassed in this world all my life than to be embarrassed one moment in the eyes of Hashem in the next world. And that's how he was able to stop. Why am I telling you this? There's also stories with Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva would not be Rabbi Akiva if Hashem would not protect him because of his Torah. Rabotai, there's many stories where the Tanaim, do you know what means Tanaim? The people that were able to revive the dead. All their whole life was Torah. And Chachamim tell us, they came and they made Gidorim for them. They said you have to stay away from women, and there's halachot for this and halachot for that. Why? Because it's not that it's nothing to do with the person per se. It's like you're telling me right now that if a person has a furnace burning and you have a stack of hay, correct? Take the stack of hay, throw it into the furnace. What's going to happen? It's going to be gone in a few seconds. Wait, go speak to the stack of hay and tell them, listen, be strong. Outpower the fire. It's never going to happen. Because fire is just stronger. Same thing with men. The Yetzer Hara, when it burns. So that's what the Chachamim come and they bring all these, they teach us all these things that a woman has to be modest. Don't sit together. Don't do l'chaim together. Watch your husbands. Watch where they walk. Watch where they go. Meaning to say, don't bring them to places where your husbands can sin. You decide you want to take your husband to the beach, to the pool, to the movie theaters, or you want to watch with him a TV show. What do you think he sees on TV? Do you think he sees on TV a beautiful girl like yourself? No, he sees somebody much more gorgeous than you. And what do you think when he's finished watching that TV show or whatever movie he's watching or anything else? Do you think in his mind it's clear that you're the only one that exists? Absolutely not. Rabotai, as a rabbi, many times people came to me with questions, and one of the questions was, and when I tell you, I'm not talking about that their wives are 75 years old and they're ugly. I'm talking about, you could tell me that I can safely say, Rabotai, that their wives were modeled wives. They were literally that everything going for them, beautiful, good, everything. And the guy would come to me and say, Rabbi, can I think about another woman because I can't be with my wife? Because I find other women attractive. So when I'm with my wife, I want to think about other women. So you guys don't think it's possible to happen to any one of us? Rabotai, this is why the Chachamim say, men separate, women separate. Men have to be tzinius, they have to be modest, women have to be modest. There are guidelines in how to behave even outside. So a woman should know that, Rabotai. A woman should understand. Besides, will be another. See these halachot. You know, women a lot of times, they put on perfume. Good. Did you know that you're not allowed to put on a lot of perfume? It has to be to a very minimal. That when you walk down the block or when you walk into a bus or into a store, that the whole store should be smelling with your perfume. Rabotai, there are halachot for this. It's not I'm just coming here and making it up. There are halachot for this, that it's usher for a woman to enter into any place where she's overly perfumed. Because of your perfume, what do you think, what do you call this? I used to work in Manhattan. There used to be a store next to us. What's that called? Body wash. Another store was body wash. I think it was. So over there, just by passing by the store, you smell all the shampoo and everything of a woman. And do you think those things are not going to get a guy going? It can get a guy going. That's why a guy has every responsibility to go ahead and try to protect himself. That's what he says every single day. Lo taturu acharei levavchem ve'acharei einechem. Not to go after your eyes, not to go after your heart. And those are from the Torah. You have a person who eats a pig, and you have a guy who looks at another woman. What's the difference between both of them? Rabotai, the guy who looks at another woman is worse than the guy who's eating a pig. We don't see this. This is mamash from the Torah. This is also from the Torah. But over here, when he eats the pig, at least he'll feel bad. Over there, when he looks at another woman, he's not going to feel so bad. So what did I do? You can look, but don't touch, right? What did I do? That's the mentality of ignorant men. So that's why you as wives should understand that it's very important not to bring your husbands to places where they can see other women. Now again, they have to work, they have to go to shopping. I'm not telling you no. But unnecessary stuff, beaches, movies, pools, mixed seating, all these things, believe it or not, only cause chaos. As much as you think it does, as much as you think it's not going to happen to my husband, if it happened to the Tanaim and the Gemara, and if it wouldn't be for their Torah, Hashem would have never saved them. I don't think your husbands have that level of merit to be able to be saved from falling with another woman. And believe me, if you know the divorce rate today, it's nuts. It's about 75, 80% divorce rate. That's scary. And why is that? Because we always want something better, not knowing that the best thing you have is already what's here. Alright, in any event, let's continue, guys. So that's what he says. When do we say you're going to be protected? That's specifically somebody who is modest. Even in a bathroom. Nitol michalamot ra'im, he'll be saved from bad dreams. והצניעות והבושה מביאות את אדם להכנעה לפני השם. A person who's modest, a person who has shame, these things are going to come to bring a person to be submissive before Kadosh Baruch Hu, to give in to Hashem. וכל שכן שיש לו לנהוג בצניעות כשמחליף את הלבנים. How much more so a person has to be careful, he has to be modest when he goes ahead and he changes his undergarment. ובספר פלא יועץ כתב, in the ספר פלא יועץ, he wrote, מידת הצניעות צריכה לאנשים. This character trait of being modest, men need it. וכל שכן לנשים, how much more so women. ובזה אדם נבדל מן הבהמה. From here, a person is different from an animal. ואפילו כשהוא לבדו בחדרי חדרים מפני כבוד מלך רם ונשא, he says, even if you are in the innermost rooms where nobody sees you, it's pitch black, you think nobody's watching you, Rabotai, it doesn't matter. Still, a person has to be modest. Why? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the honorable king, he fills the entire world. So this is the halacha for today, Rabotai. A person has to learn to get dressed modestly. You know, Baruch Hashem, today we have robes. You put on the robe after the shower. You have to wipe yourself. You wipe yourself, and then you start getting dressed under the robe. You don't have to start getting dressed where everybody sees you. You might tell me, Rabbi, there's nobody in my room. There's nobody watching me. Again, we saw Chazal tell us that a person's stones and the beams of a person's house will testify on the person themselves. There's always somebody watching. Have a great day. Baruch Adonai Olam. Amen ve'amen.